Hi there, Jay Tedeschi here, Senior Technical Marketing Specialist at Autodesk. Today we're going to take a look at cable and wire harness design with Inventor Professional 2016. We're going to start in Inventor by using new functionality to 2016, and essentially we call it the electromechanical link setup. Now what this does is it actually links the harness design in Inventor to a schematic in AutoCAD Electrical. We begin by essentially naming the file name for the link file itself, then selecting a location for it. I'll select right there. Let's go ahead and create. Vault wakes up, prompts us to check out the data. We do so. And let's see, here we go. All right, now we'll select which of the two, either AutoCAD Electrical or Inventor, drives conflict resolution, or which is the dominant product. Now, once the link has been set up, we get a browser. It's the same browser in both tools. Here we are now like establishing that link in AutoCAD Electrical. So the link already exists, so we don't have to create it. We just have to select the file. We select right there. As you can see, Inventor is already selected as the link as the conflict resolution tool. So if there are any conflicts between data, whether it be in AutoCAD Electrical or Inventor Professional, the Inventor Professional data will take precedence. So again, as you can see, the electrical browser itself is identical in both of the tools. What we're doing now is assigning the parts, as you can see in the browser there, the parts in Inventor can be assigned to existing elements in my schematic. So we'll go ahead and select this connector, for example. That's a plug, it's not a receptacle, so we'll select that from the option. And now, as you can see here, it's showing us that based on the schematic, there are 3 wires hooked up to that connector at this point in time. Now let's do a search of the electrical browser for Bosch. And when we do that, we can find that there is a single connector part. We'll check that out of Vault, and we'll go ahead and place that on the body of our schematic. Place it right about here. Make sure it's lined up. And there we go. Now at this point, I'm going to assign some reference designation information to it. So this is fuel injector 4, plug 1. It automatically is going to be numbered with pin 1 and pin 2. And what's left for me to do now is actually wire that connector to the existing connector down there, those 2 connectors that you see that make up the rest of the harness. So we'll enter the wire function, and we'll select the first pin. We'll select the pin on the existing connector that it attaches to. Now let's go back into our wire type. We'll select violet wire, again 12 gauge. We'll go from right here, which is pin 2, and we're going to go over to pin 5. Let's click right here. And there we go, pin 5 on receptacle 1. All right, now that that's done, let's go ahead and retag. We'll use some of the AutoCAD electrical functionality here to automatically retag all of the wire numbers on our schematic. So we didn't renumber everything, we just said renumber the wires that don't currently have wire numbers attached to it. Once that's done, we'll hit the sync command, and that will synchronize the information between AutoCAD Electrical and Inventor Professional. And now we're over in Inventor Professional, and you can see that all the information that we just added with regard to electrical hookups is now exists here over here in Inventor. So we'll do a similar search for the same plug, only this time we're going to look for a 3D version of it. Again, through the electrical catalog browser, we search for Bosch. There it is. We'll select it. Now this is a user created. It can be user created. It can be downloaded from a vendor's site. In this case, this was user created, and I added some iMates to it for quick and easy placement. So we'll go ahead and drag those 2 mates into alignment with one another. And now let's drag this one, and we'll align that with that one right there. So now that connector is now firmly attached to the fuel injector, where that's where it's supposed to be. Now you can see we have 2 wires there which are currently unattached. So let's go ahead and activate the wire harness itself. Okay, see pins, they're the wires. There's our fuel injector plug, and wire 1 and 2 are not currently attached, so we'll select create connection. And there, you can see it right there now. The violet and orange wire are automatically attached to the pins. Now they're not routed into the harness yet, so we'll just automatically route all unrouted wires. And there we go. So now let's set the display of the wires. Let's reset that to rendered instead of center line. So now we can actually see the thickness, the gauge of each of the wires that make up this wire harness. Now let's select part priority, and we're going to essentially go to the harness properties for this connector and essentially reassign the reference designation that we did over in AutoCAD Electrical. And the reason we're doing that is because we're about to create a nail board drawing here in Inventor Professional for the harness. And for the breakout of each of the connectors, we want to have the proper reference designations on that document. So let's go ahead over. So I've already partially completed it. It's like one of those cooking shows. I'm not going to show you the tedious process of setting up a harness nail board document, but in any case, we'll finish it up here. Now you can see there's one unused fuel connector that hasn't been placed on the body of the drawing yet, so we'll go ahead and place that. It comes in with a default orientation from the 3D model itself. We can easily go and edit the view of that. We can use the view cube to select an orientation, or in this case, where there is no standard orientation that we can select, we can utilize a custom view orientation. So let's just go ahead and pick one of the faces here. That's good. We'll go to orthographic instead of perspective view, and we'll finish the view. And there we go. So that's perfectly, well, almost perfectly aligned with the rest of the fuel injector connectors. And now the final step is to get all of the reference designations for the connectors and the pins. We don't have this connector yet, so let's select all of the parts. Let's go down to reference designation. Let's enable it for this fuel injector 4, plug 1. We'll place that. And then finally we'll do the same thing. So we'll go to display. Let's say all of the pins. We want the pin name, and let's pick a default location for where we want the pin numbers to go. And now we get all of pin 1, pin 2 for every single connection that makes up this harness. So that's it. I hope this was informative, and I'm glad we spent the time on this, and I look forward to working with you again very soon.